different aspects of value addition, post-harvest management for fishery segment, and the more important is that how to enhance the shelf life to increase the longevity of a fish product. Regarding the packaging, packaging is important tool to preserve, protect, promote the seafood item like other food products. As we know that fish is highly nutritious product, but at the same time it is perishable and sensitive to the microorganism. This is the packaging by which we can enhance the shelf life of fish and fish product, and by the same time it is an important tool of marketing, add the brand value of a product. When we pack any food product, a fish product, the packaging may be a different level of the packaging we need to pack it, primary, secondary, and tertiary packaging. So different formats and material is used to scientifically pack seafood items. Based on the characteristics of different variety of the fish and fishery product, we require different packaging. When we talk about the fresh food item, especially for the maintain the supply chain, we need to have a different packaging. By the same time, when we process your food item, we need to have a different requirement, different characteristic to be maintained. The quality to maintain, we require a different packaging. So that for packaging of different fish products, we need to have a different packaging. From primary packaging to secondary packaging, tertiary packaging, and more important is the compliances is very much important. When we are exporting our fish or seafood items, we fulfill the requirement of the exporting countries' compliances. And when we have transport our product of fish and seafood item for internal transportations, we need to have a different compliances, national compliances we need to follow. As I have mentioned, when we need to enhance the shelf life, we need to have a certain barrier properties to be maintained. The packaging material, we have to maintain a certain barrier properties in terms of the moisture barrier, in terms of the gas barrier properties, and especially major culprit for rancidity and spoilage is oxygen. So that we have to select the packaging film or packaging material which must provide the suitable oxygen barrier property. And when we pack any product, seal integrity is very much important. So therefore, we have to maintain the quality parameter so that seal integrity, sealing strength of the particular packages is important. And more important is what I have to fulfill the compliances, regulatory compliances, we have to fulfill the labeling, and through the labeling, now we are talking about that tracing and traceability, smart tagging system becomes so more important in today's scenario. And I have mentioned about that. The two aspects of the packaging is very much important. One aspect of the packaging is the functionality of the packaging to maintain safe delivery to the ultimate consumer in sound, safe condition. Especially primary packaging, which is in direct contact with the food, is safety becomes prime importance. Safety. Whatever the packaging we are going to use in form of the film, plastic films, composite films, glass, metal, whatever the packaging, we have to evaluate the safety, migration, leachability, ink migration is the paramount importance. And especially apart from 12 commandment of the labeling commandment is important. Now it is more important. You have to declare the, especially the labeling compliances I will discuss in last slide, which is more important now today's, especially regarding the sensitivity of the human consumption of the consumption. These are the primary form and format of the packaging, from the glass, from metal, from metals, multi-layer films. These are the different format and forms of the primary packaging, which is responsible especially to increase the shelf life of the product. Based on the requirement, based on the transportation, how far we need to transport your product, we have to select the packaging material and packages. So these are the commonly available packages are available to pack a consumer seafood items. Next is the secondary level of the packaging, which is a transport tertiary level of the packaging is more important for transportations. Commonly used packaging, earlier we used to have different form of the packaging. Now more important is corrugated fiber board boxes is. But we know that the limitation of corrugated fiber board boxes, we need to have a certain strength parameter to be maintained, so that we have to evaluate this transport packaging in terms of transport worthiness, suitability of a transport, the strength, the dimensions, and this is the more important is the curve value, because this corrugated fiber board boxes are prone to absorb the moisture. We have to evaluate the curve value against the ingress of the moisture. And apart from compression strength, because during the transportation, we need to maintain the stack loads, one box to another box. So all boxes from top to bottom, so that it must be evaluated the stacking load. So these are the parameters to be considered when we have to transport your seafood items with respect to the transport worthiness. These are the different forms. Folding cartons is generally used for the secondary packaging, the self-packaging, so that printing, aesthetic. So I have mentioned about the functional engineering requirement is one aspect of the packaging where we have to provide certain strength to be maintained throughout the supply chain. But another area where we are talking, especially the secondary packaging, mono cartons are generally used, and where the aesthetic design of the packaging is important. How you have to design, so it must appeal to the customer. We have done some study, when you have to enter any retail shop, we have done a study, what is the impact of the retail packaging of particular foods? 3 seconds is sufficient to attract the customer. So you have to design in such a way it attract and appeal to the customer. Now, apart from this all functionality aspect of the sustainable design is very much important. Sustainability of packaging material is another factor to be considered. We have to select the secondary and tertiary packaging. And of course, these are the other form and format. Reusable plastics is another important aspect when we have to design a sustainable tertiary packaging. Reusable packaging is important factors of 3R of the sustainability. And shrink wrap multi-pack, where we have to, when we have to pack a fresh seafood items, we have to provide initial barrier against the moisture. So we have to wrap. The suitable wrapping material is important, and we have to need the compliances to be followed regarding the sustainability of a shrink wrap. Now, here is the catch area. Earlier we cannot use, it was permitted only 15 microns of shrink wrapping materials to be used. Now we have to use more than 100 microns. So we have to fulfill the compliances. The future is that if we can have a bio-based polymeric material, where is potential, one side to fulfill the compliances of international as well as national compliances, and more important is that we have to create certain barrier at par with the conventional polymeric material. Next, some of the tertiary packaging. generally used now these days for packaging of fish and seafood items, intermediate bulk containers, you can use it, insulated pallet containers, stress wrap films, and wooden pallets and plastic pallets. So where now the new trend is that so many recyclable plastic pallets, where there's some certain, you have to use as part of the EPR new regulation, we need to increase the recyclable plastic containers in a packaging material as well as earlier it was 30%, now you have to go for 40, and next another years we have to go for up to the 60. So whatever the packaging material you have to use, including the pallet is important, packaging material for the transport, packaging, to where up to the 60% of the recyclable plastic is now going to mandatory for EPR system. Now, modified atmosphere packaging is one of the important packaging tools for the enhancing the shelf life. But we know that variety of the fish item is available. We cannot pack in the same composition of carbon dioxide, nitrogen flushing system for all fish item. So therefore, we can support, being Indian Institute of Packaging, we can support to develop a module like CFT is also working on, especially in this area. We need to have a different module for different fish variety, different fish item, where we can help you to define, to pack a particular variety and particular types of the fish, then you can use it. This is the area. Because when you search literature, you will find lot of variations are there. So all मर्ज की दवा क्रोसिन नहीं हो सकती. और so we need to have, if we have a specific variety of the fish, we need to have a certain modulus of different composition need to be maintained, so different map modules. Now, along with the map, we can go for active packaging systems where we can have a different active ingredients to be incorporated so that it will enhance the efficiency and efficacy of map and active integrated packaging systems. So we have done some harmonization of different packaging materials along with the meat product, and we are also working on the different fish products. So we can help, if any entrepreneurs can reach out to the Indian Institute of Packaging, we can share our research and harmonization for especially the map and active packaging modules. Now, new area, recently we have introduced artificial intelligence and machine learning at the Indian Institute of Packaging, where I will not discuss because it needs another 1 hour to discuss what is the blockchain technology, what is the artificial intelligence, but we can say definitely it will enhance the quality, it will enhance the efficacy, and especially integrated packaging or logistics systems. So blockchain is new area. So any entrepreneur, any startups can again reach out to the Indian Institute of Packaging. We have 8 centers in Pan India, including the IIP Bangalore is new center, IIP Chennai is our old center, and Mumbai is headquartered Delhi. You can reach out and we can give our support systems to the entrepreneurs and exporters. And of course, this is the new buzzwords, Internet of the Things for the fish and seafood supply chain. So these are the different tools, integrate and important parts of Internet of the Things to improve the efficacy of a fish and seafood supply chain. IoT integrate the sensor-based connectivity and cloud platform to monitor the seafood quality, ensures cold chain integrity, and improve the traceability. So traceability can be integrated to all 3 tools, and definitely we know that temperature review is one of the important. This is the tool, integrated tool by which we can control the temperature abuse systems, which is very much important for especially to maintain the robust supply chain system for seafood items. And more important is RFID smart tagging systems. We know that the benefits for the years of RFID and smart tagging, but what is the major challenges there? The cost was a major challenge. Now, some of the starters we have been connected now these days, they are working to reduce the cost. It will be the boom for the whole supply system of the seafood industry, including other industry. Now, under the government's mission, we have been associated some of the startups to make this RFID system affordable. So we need to utilize the commodity-based RFID tagging system. So far we have not worked on the seafood items, but we are working for some other agricultural commodities to develop, and especially I am happy to share that we are working on especially tracking and traceability for fertilizer urea bags pan-India. So like one commodity we are working, and definitely it will be the cost-effective technology, affordable technology, and easy to use, convenience. It will definitely help to the, especially the seafood industry as well as. So I'm not going to discuss in detail what is the RFID, but I hope all you are aware, this RFID uses the electronic tagging systems and radio waves to automatically identify, monitor, and track, including the seafood products throughout the supply chain without the direct line of sight. So this is this technique and or RFID tagging systems, end-to-end traceability from the harvest to the retail shop. It will help to monitor the cold chain, real-time inventory, and of course, various multiple inventories. It will help to ease out the maintaining the inventory for the especially retail segment. And more important is that when you are going to export, the tracking of export consignment throughout the supply chain. And my co-chair just mentioned about there is a lot of rejections. I'm very much confident with the help of RFID tagging, lot of rejection can be minimized. This is the tool by which we can properly track and trace, maintain the temperature abuse at any point of time during the logistic and supply chain. I'm not going to discuss about the different consumer packaging systems, but one thing is that when especially we are going to pack any processed food items, based on we can classify our seafood items, low moisture seafood items, high moisture food items, and especially when you are going to pack low moisture seafood products, especially ready to eat, ready to consume, some value-added seafood items, we have to have certain shelf life up to the 1 year and even more than that. Few years before, we used to have a multi-layer plastic is the boom area for especially to pack such items. Flexible pouches were there. But now new environmental compliances are there. We need to have whatever the packaging material you are going to use, it must be recyclable. So earlier what happens, multi-layer films having different types of polymer materials being used to sandwich one films, but they are actually not easy to recycle it. So lot of permeation and combinations we can use mono-material based multi-layer films to fulfill the compliances. This is the answer it is the area of interest for all exporters, entrepreneurs, because ultimately you have to fulfill the compliances, regulatory compliances. Where we can help you, okay, if you have a particular commodities for seafood item, processed food items, and earlier you used to have multi-layer films, we can give a solution for recyclable mono-material based film without compromising the shelf life, required shelf life. This is the area need to be worked. And these are the different process and value-added fish items of different packaging material can be used, but ultimately we need to fulfill the compliances of sustainability and EPR regulations. Last, I will not talk about, now, more important area is the sustainability and especially bio-based material. Here packaging is important tool, and I can say important tool for post-harvest management. Without the packaging, we cannot fulfill the compliances of post-harvest management in totality. We need to have a shelf life, then we need to have a good packaging. We have to preserve your seafood items, we need to have a suitable packaging. We have a different processing parameters, we have to have a compatible packaging tools and technique. But here we are talking about the wastage. I can say India will be the hub country to have a bio-based polymer materials, and where the seafood waste materials, and especially I can say the marine sources is important source of bio-based polymer materials. One side, we need to have a good packaging to fulfill the overall requirement of the packaging. By the same time, I can visualize India may become a hub country where we have a bio-based polymer material from sea waste materials. So there is no waste now. I can say if we can utilize this seaweed as a one area where I can say statistically we can claim that few years back we have only 0.5 million tons of the bio-based polymer material India used to produce. Now the growth rate is 14%. Growth rate of bio-based polymer in India has increased up to the 14%. So huge potential is there. We need to have a joint collaborations where the academic institutions hand to hand together with the industry, and of course, like organization MPEDA, work together, we can utilize this potential area and give the solution and become a lead for the whole world. Thank you very much.